What started as a routine ocean survey quickly turned into a discovery no one was prepared for. While scanning the seabed, local researchers spotted a strange metallic shape resting deep below the waves. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a sunken shipping container. But when their diving robot hauled it up, every person watching the live feed froze in disbelief. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The discovery wasn't random. On that exact day, Coast Guard buoys detected heavy disturbances beneath the water's surface. Sonar reports backed it up, each indicating something massive had plunged into the ocean. Captain Izzy Barkley and her seasoned crew were dispatched immediately to investigate, determined to uncover the truth behind the strange underwater activity. The buoy with the strongest ratings floated about 20 miles offshore. Once Izzy and her team arrived, they wasted no time preparing. As the lead researcher, Izzy always insisted on diving first. Within minutes, she descended into the depths. The water grew darker, heavier. Then, just ahead, she spotted the mysterious container resting silently on the sea floor. Izzy swam around it, quickly realizing there was no chance she could lift a thing on her own. She surfaced and shouted instructions. Moments later, the ship's remotely operated diving robot was prepped to take over. "Let's get it onto the boat," she ordered firmly, heart racing. The research team had left their high-tech facility prepared for anything, or so they thought. Under Izzy's steady command, the team checked every system on the remotely operated vehicle. Once satisfied, they released it into the waves. The machine slipped beneath the surface, descending gracefully into the darkness. The robot descended smoothly. Visibility was surprisingly clear, offering them a rare advantage. Finally, the dark outline of the container emerged from the shadows, waiting, unmoved, like it had always belonged down there. To the untrained eye, it looked ordinary, just another weathered shipping container. But something about it felt wrong. At Izzy's command, the robot extended its long mechanical arms and clamped tightly onto the container's frame. The crew initiated the lift sequence. Cables tightened, gears whirred. At first, it looked promising. The metal beast below wasn't moving easily. It was obvious whatever was inside wasn't ordinary cargo. The resistance was unnatural, unsettling. The ship's onboard crane was designed to handle enormous weights, sunken vehicles, wreckage, even whales if necessary. At last, after an exhausting fight with the ocean's weight, the container broke the surface. The crew scrambled aside as it slammed onto the deck with a deafening metallic thud. Everyone rushed closer, wide-eyed and breathless, eager to see what had nearly pushed their vessel past its limits. Most of the crew buzzed with excitement, but Izzy stayed quiet, her sharp eyes fixed on details others overlooked. The container's steel walls gleamed strangely, almost too clean. And then she realized something was wrong. It had just been lifted from the ocean floor, yet there wasn't a single leak, drip, or bead of water escaping from its sealed frame. That detail made Izzy's stomach tighten, but this one looked deliberately engineered to stay sealed. That meant it wasn't lost cargo at all. It was built to be hidden, designed with intention. Someone had locked this secret away for a reason. Izzy gave the order. Open it, but carefully. A deckhand clamped bolt cutters around the padlock. The hinges groaned, a hiss escaped, and with a final screech, the steel door swung open. Inside, the crew froze. This wasn't cargo or machinery, it was something unnatural. Almost in a trance, Izzy stepped inside. Strange devices lined the walls, some mechanical, others almost biological, their purpose unreadable. She brushed her fingers across an object soft, wrapped in fabric. Nearby were wooden pieces, worn from use. These were personal belongings, not artifacts. A chipped mug, a folded blanket, a stack of books. It looked domestic, not industrial. Why would someone hide household items in a sealed container at the bottom of the ocean, she muttered. As she looked closer, the space began to resemble a home, small, compact, complete with furniture, a bed, even a bolted-in closet. "This wasn't cargo," she whispered. "This was someone's home." Then a shout shattered the quiet. "Over here!" One of the crew held up a scratched Ziploc bag containing a small digital recorder. Izzy's pulse quickened. This could finally explain everything. She handled it carefully, the bag having kept it dry. Static filled the air, then clear. A sound emerged, a cough, then a man's voice, rough but clear. "If someone finds this," he began. His words came fast, desperate. "I need to record this before they notice we are here and capture us." Izzy froze. "Capture us?" The phrase echoed in her mind. The recording ended in a burst of static, leaving only the pounding of waves against the hull and the stunned silence of the crew. Izzy stared at the recorder, realization sinking in. This wasn't just a mystery, it was a warning. Whatever had happened inside that container had not been meant to be found. "My name is Ahmed Osman," the voice said, almost breathless. "I hope someone finds this container and this message. If you're listening, lives are at stake." The words echoed like a warning bell. Then the tape cut out, leaving them in uneasy silence. Just as Izzy was about to speak, the recorder sputtered back to life. A crackle of static filled the room before Ahmed's voice returned, this time faster, sharper, filled with fear. "We are in desperate need of assistance," he pleaded. "We are on the Evercargo Voyager, but I don't know for how long. Please, save us." Then silence again. Izzy tried to restart the device, but it was dead. A thought flashed through Izzy's mind. The Evercargo Voyager. She'd seen that name before. She rushed to the ship's digital logs. The Evercargo Voyager had appeared several times in port records but never stayed long. No inspections, no cargo transfers, only brief refueling stop. It had always seemed odd. "We need to find it," she said firmly. The mission had changed. This was no longer about discovery, it was about lives. Within hours, they reached the coordinate. The Evercargo Voyager loomed ahead, rusted and motionless about 15 miles from shore. No lights, no movement, just silent. The crew watched, uneasy. "It's just lying there," someone whispered. "We need backup," she said, contacting the Coast Guard and police. When authorities arrived, Izzy briefed them quickly, playing part of the recording. The officers exchanged grim looks. "This is real," one muttered. But boarding wouldn't be easy. The ship's short, infrequent dockings hinted at secrecy. If the captain saw law enforcement coming, he could shut them out or worse. Then Izzy had an idea. The officers would disguise themselves as members of a research team. With spare uniforms and a believable cover story, the plan was set. Izzy and 2 officers climbed into a dinghy, the sea calm beneath them but their nerves on edge. When they called out for permission to board, there was a long, uneasy pause. Men appeared along the rail, whispering. Finally, one responded, suspicious and cold. Izzy smiled, keeping her tone steady. "We're part of a marine life research team," she explained, tossing in a few scientific terms to sell the lie. The man didn't respond right away. Instead, he shouted orders, and crew members began moving hurriedly on deck as if hiding something. After a tense half hour, a ladder was thrown down. They climbed aboard and were met by the captain, an older man with a hard, unreadable face. "You have 1 hour," he said flatly, turning away without another word. Izzy forced a calm smile, pretending to take readings on her tablet. Her heart pounded as she scanned the deck. She had made it aboard the Evercargo Voyager where Ahmed Osman's desperate message had led her. Now, she just had to uncover the truth about what this ship was hiding. They moved slowly through the ship's corridors, pretending to study marine life while secretly searching for clues. But everything was spotless. Out of desperation, Izzy leaned close to a nearby container and whispered, "Ahmed Osman, are you here?" One of the officers shot her a puzzled glance. "Trust me," she said. "If he's here, he'll hear me." Moments later, a sharp click echoed behind them. A door creaked open, and before they could react, hands pulled them inside. The door slammed shut. The officers reached for their weapons but froze at the sight before them. There were people at least 20 crammed into a dim, suffocating space. Some sick, others terrified. Then, a man stepped forward, his eyes hollow but familiar. Izzy's breath caught. "Ahmed Osman." He blinked, disbelief in his voice. "I can't believe it worked," he whispered. "You found us." Hope flickered across the faces of those around him. Ahmed explained everything. "We were promised safe passage, a new life. I paid everything I had. But once we were aboard, they changed the deal. They locked us inside and forced us to work. Anyone who resisted disappeared." The truth hit hard. This wasn't just trafficking, it was enslavement at sea. The officers immediately began planning a response. They needed to act fast. Ahmed described the crew, their routines, their weapons. Every detail mattered. Within minutes, the Coast Guard organized a covert raid. The wait was agonizing. Then, with perfect precision, the operation began. Officers stormed the decks, catching the traffickers completely off guard. Within an hour, the entire ship was secured. The nightmare was over. Izzy and Ahmed worked side by side, opening containers, freeing families, guiding them to safety. When they finally reached port, officials were ready, shelters, medics, and volunteers waiting to help. News of the operation spread worldwide. Reporters called it one of the most extraordinary rescues in maritime history. Back home, Izzy followed every update. She wasn't proud of the headlines, she was proud of the lives saved. Ahmed and the others were finally free. Weeks later, messages began arriving from the rescued passengers, letters, photos, thank you notes. Families reunited, new jobs found, children starting school. Authorities soon uncovered a vast human trafficking network spanning multiple countries. Dozens of arrests followed. Izzy testified before global panels, urging stronger maritime oversight. Her words carried weight now because she had seen what happened when no one was watching. She never returned to ocean research the same way. Every expedition felt heavier, more human. She began mentoring younger scientists, teaching them that not all discoveries are scientific, some are moral. When asked if she'd change anything, she always said, "Not a single thing." One quiet morning, a letter arrived with no return address. Inside was a photo. Ahmed standing proudly in front of a small bakery, smiling. Beside him, a sign read, "Freedom tastes sweet." Izzy smiled, tucking the photo into her journal. The ocean had given up its darkest secret and in doing so saved countless lives.